want you to rethink what consistency is. Okay. If we can redefine what consistency is in our heads, we can go about building a golf swing and have a lot more fun playing. I would classify myself as a better than average golfer. I play professional golf as a lefty. If you follow the channel, you see some of the left-handed swings. And I did have a challenge to build my golf swing as a righty. And the goal that I had said to the player's parent is that it's not really hard, okay, to be able to build a pattern that has some sort of consistency. And the consistency that I was looking for was balls that would push and draw as a righty. Now, I haven't touched the golf club in about 3 weeks as a lefty, never mind righty. It's been a few months at least, or maybe about a month and a half since I've hit a golf ball, really, and spending a lot of time as a righty. But one of the things that I have built a habit, a pattern that I know I can do pushes and draws. Some days the ball curves less. Some days I hit balls that have pretty big curves. But overall, for somebody who's a righty, I've got a 9-iron, and yes, I play the King Tech 9-iron. I average about 145 in the air with 9-iron. Okay, so I think that's a pretty good component to it. And you can see all my balls push and draw. They're all hit really solid. That one pushed and cut. No, he did draw just a little bit. No, he did come back. Okay, but every ball has predictability. I know as a lefty, I make sure that thing goes left, did it come left. I know as a lefty, when I was playing mini circuit golf, the thing that I hated the most was balls that would curve right and left. And as long as I had balls curving in one direction, I knew how to adjust so I could get the ball around the golf course, how to grind it out to be able to shoot a couple under par. And then when I had my A game, I could go low. So what do I want from you guys in this process? I want you to understand that there are some simple things that we can do that would allow us as an average golfer limited time to practice about what we can do when we practice to build something that would add some predictability to the curve so that I can hit it solid. And I know balls are curving right to left. And I just got to go on the range today and worry about where do I have to aim this gun for the amount of curve. So the first thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to add some consistency by removing excess moving parts. I love the Megza. I think it's a great tool to add consistency for golfers trying to improve the quality of their motion. One of the first things that we start to look at is foveal vision, the ability to keep the ball in your central vision so that I can then improve my hand-eye coordination. 1, 2, the foveal vision is controlled by the upper rotational center, so keeping the spot between my shoulders where I can extend, tilt, and turn and have very limited movement with it, has a great effect on where I'm going to be able to hit it in the face because it adds compensation. So if I move further away because the distance from the ball to the left shoulder, which is the center of the swing, I have a distance. So as I go back, if I change where the center of rotation, the upper center of rotation is, I've changed the trajectory of the shoulder, I've changed the trajectory of the hands, I've changed the trajectory of the club head and its arc. And now the ball is now further from my eyes, which then I'm going to have to make another adjustment and another compensation to get back to where I was so I can hit this golf ball more solid. So I knew that as a lefty and its importance of controlling the upper center of rotation. So I set out to build a plan for myself that I could hit every golf ball solid, minimize the amount of moving parts, and then be able to hit balls that would push and draw. And then depending on the day, I would just go figure out how to calibrate it. So for us and for me, what I started with is I always practice, even as a lefty, with a stance line, and then the ball at the no. That would then let me know how many balls back of the 0 that I had. And what I wanted to practice is I preset. Like again, when we see tour players at impact, we see that trail arm a little bit more under. This guy is externally rotated, pronated, and the dorsiflexed trail wrist. I wanted to practice making sure that my arm structure, that I could get really good with that. So what I did is I just basically preset the weight forward and I practiced with the headpiece, trying to feel like I could control the upper center rotation, getting some of this little shoulder motion with the arm and club motion so that I could hit balls, okay, that would push, and I could keep the, basically we would call the 3 under 1 with the face closed to the shaft so that I could sit here and I could hit balls that would push and draw. So the path, 14 degrees inside out, 6 degrees down. You can see it on the, oh, I don't have it, it's right there, 14. And that ball curved a little bit to the left. So I would practice and go through cycles where I would preset the weight forward, 3 in 1, face a little close to the shaft, head stays stable, everything moves around the upper center rotation, and I hit golf balls so that every ball would push and draw for me. Pretty straight. So those are the pieces that I would do in terms of this. A little fat, but still push and drew. Okay, so the next piece that I added as I started to practice, once I started to get control over the right arm, I started to add the radius into the mix. So I basically preset the weight forward, established the radius now with my left arm, and now I had both arms that had to transport around the upper center of rotation. So basically, the shoulders, the hands and club were going to travel around a much stable upper body location. And I just hit punch shots out there, working on making sure that I had my down, my out with the face close to the shaft, just getting the balls pushing and drawing. Didn't even care about how much. I just wanted balls to start to the right and curve to the left. So as I continued to build those pieces, I started to build a setup routine. The adjusted 0, okay, to the 0, 2 ball back grid, handle forward, establish the radius, 3 in the 1, push the weight forward, keep those constants, hit the ball solid, push and draw. The little swing overemphasized how I used the arms. Didn't have a whole lot of legs in that mix. So once I started to get pretty good and these balls all pushing and drawing, then I started to do the same thing. I got the adjusted 0, the 0, connected the radius. So I started to make a little bit bigger swing. So I would go from P3 to P9. Now I'm going to get the hips moving a little bit more, but I'm going to kind of stay in the preset position of my weight more forward. So I'm trying to stay stable on that front foot. So there it was. Now I'm going to go a little bit more P3 to P9. All balls push and draw. Now I also have a very odd grip as a righty. My right hand is all the fingers are on there, and then in my left hand, the pointer finger overlaps the right. It just feels comfortable to me based on, my right hand, how it was on the club as a lefty. So from here, I kept building the swing, but I wouldn't go from one phase to the next when I was learning until I could hit every ball that pushed and drew. And I would do every phase. I would start off with my single arm. I would put the 2 arm with little ones. Then I started to get a little bigger with the swing. I started to hit things a little bit harder. So that's about a P3 to P9 at a kind of a slower pace. Here's a slightly longer, a little faster pace. All balls push and draw. I would say that every golfer, right, can build this into their game. The consistency piece of this, the push and the draws, the push and the draws, the push and the draws. Hit it solid. I think that stuff is pretty simple to do. And it's just how we go about building it. I used to practice about 60 to 90 minutes a week. I micromanaged the task, so I didn't do it in one 60 to 90 minute session. I would do it 10, 15 minutes here and there throughout the course of the week whenever I found some time. But I made sure that I got really good at one piece before I made it more complex. So I reduced pieces and then I added them back in. And then it just got to a point where I'm able to make full-blown golf swings and every ball does push and draw. So as I started to get into the longer swing, I wanted to make sure that I didn't have this crazy long hand path, and I wanted to make sure that I could keep the arc going. So then I started to add a few more pieces to the Megza. So this guy here helped me learn how to control the length of the hand path. This guy here helped me keep my hands traveling in on an arc. So what I like about this, the Megza and swing training, I have 3 of these. I actually have one in my garage, right? Is that it allows me to have some consistency to the pieces when I'm practicing my swing. Some of the overall gross motor skills that I can then start to adjust. So one of the things that I did is I added a ton of consistency to what I was trying to learn. I segmented out the pieces, learned it one step at a time, added more layers into the mix until I arrived at hitting all sorts of push draws. And I can say this, a vast majority of golfers, as a right-handed golfer, practice way more than I do, but my ability to go out on the golf course and have this shot and know that the ball is starting and it's going to start to the right and draw, that I can hit it solid, allows me to adjust what I am doing that day. And it took me 5 months of practice, second round of golf, I broke 40. I think anybody can do this stuff with the proper swing training and a very specific plan. And as long as you follow those pieces, you'll be able to get yourself in your golf swing more consistent to deliver results that I think golfers can do in relation to consistency.